Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here this evening. Before I call the meeting to order, I'm going to invite Tim Rose up with First Priority to lead us in our invocation. Thank you for being here, Tim.
Thank you. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so much for this day. God, we're grateful that the sun rose and it went down, even if it went down earlier than we wanted it to. But we're grateful. We're grateful for this time of year where we get to be thankful. We get to reflect on all that you've done. And that, God, that then we move into a time where we get to celebrate your birth. Lord, I pray that as we go into this season, this time is fun for many, but unfortunately hard for others. I pray for comfort for those families who are hurting, for those who are missing loved ones this time of year. God, and I pray that you would just be the author of comfort and peace that you are. God, I'm grateful that we get to come here. We get to discuss things of our city. Lord, I pray for wisdom as all of these in front of me lead. And God, I pray that you would just allow us to be more and more flourishing and that we would become more and more like you. God, I'm grateful for the wonderful movement that we're getting to see right now on Weatherford High School's campus. God, that we got to see last week 45 teenagers share their faith for the first time. God, we're grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the many things that our city brings. And God, I just pray now over this time of meeting that, again, you would be an author of peace, that there would be no discord, but instead that decisions would be made all in accordance to your will and into your word. God, we love you so much, and we thank you most of all that we can celebrate your son, Jesus, that he came, lived on the earth, died on a cross, and did not remain on the cross and did not remain in the grave, but instead is risen King, and that we can worship him in all ways every day of our life. Lord, we pray this all in his name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tim. Have a good evening, sir. It is 6:02 p.m. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order and announce that we have a quorum present. All council members are in attendance this evening. Item 3 on the agenda is pledges of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags, be led by Council Member Matt Tiskus.
All right, please join me to pledge to the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you for that, Matt. Item 4 on the agenda is items of community interest. Aaron Spicer, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a quick few highlights from around town, because it's officially that time of the year when we light the Christmas tree, but also the mosquito repellent candle at the same time. But no matter what the thermometer says, the holiday season has arrived and Weatherford is ready to celebrate. The Weatherford Chamber of Commerce just brought home the gold for Best Event in Texas from the Texas Festivals and Event Association. Thanks to none other than our very own Parker County Peach Festival. Congrats to the Chamber for proving once again that Weatherford really is just peachy. The Weatherford College volleyball team is officially number 2 in the nation. And no, that ranking isn't a typo or just a little hometown bias. After an 18-0 conference run and a Region 5 tournament win, the Coyotes are now at National Junior College Athletic Association National Tournament in Clarksville, Tennessee this week. They'll tip off against the number 14 Casper College tomorrow, November 19th at 1 p.m. Good luck, Coyotes. And the City of Weatherford Christmas tree has arrived. This 54-foot live Norwegian spruce has landed at Heritage Park Amphitheater. It's getting ready for its moment in the spotlight at our annual tree lighting ceremony on Monday, November 24th at 6 p.m. And if you're looking for a way to work off that extra slice of pie after Thanksgiving, the Jingle Jog is coming to downtown Weatherford on Saturday, November 29th. Whether you're sprinting, strolling, or being towed by a very enthusiastic Australian Shepherd, registration starts at 9 a.m. and the race kicks off at 9:30. Small Business Saturday is coming up on November 29th, and there's no better place to shop small than right here in Weatherford. From unique gifts and local eats to one-of-a-kind finds you won't find online, your dollars make a big difference when they stay close to home. Support your neighbors who make our community so special. And finally, we've got Christmas on the Square, Saturday, December 6th. There will be local shopping, festive food, and fun for the whole family, including the littlest elves. That night wraps up with the award-winning Weatherford Lights Night Parade at 6:30 p.m. Don't miss all the holiday magic. And if you're looking for more fun around town, you can stroll through a winter wonderland at the Pathway of Lights, happening nightly, November 24th through December 31st, 5:30 to 9 p.m. at Heritage Park. Find unique gifts and local goodies at First Monday Trade Days, November 28th through the 30th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Heritage Park. And the Weatherford Public Library will be getting a visit from the Big Man in Red on Saturday, December 6th. You can have free photos with Santa, perfect for your Christmas cards. For all this and more, visit experienceweatherford.com.
Thank you for that, Aaron. We really appreciate it. At this time, we've got I'm going to invite Chad Marbutt, one of our assistant city managers, to come up, and we've got a special recognition this evening that he's going to share some information on us, with us related to.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If I could get our city manager, James Hotop, to join me at the podium, please. Please, sir. You don't have to say any attention. Mayor and Council, tonight we're presenting recognition from the Department of Defense to our city manager, Mr. James Hotop. America's Guard and Reserve Forces comprise over 800,000 service members. Nearly 40% of our total military force comprises that group. Of the 399 employees at the city of Weatherford, 5 are currently serving our nation as active guard or reservists, all Air Force, I might add. Throughout any major military operation or sustained deployment, the reserve component isn't supplemental. It's essential to mission success and our ability to project power on a global scale. But that capability depends on employer support. Under James's leadership, the city of Weatherford has implemented policies and benefits that go beyond legal compliance. It creates a culture where military service is celebrated and recognized as a direct contribution to America's warfighting capability and our deterrence posture. The Patriot Award recognizes organizations and leaders who understand supporting Guard and Reserve members isn't about the accommodation, it's about maintaining the backbone of American military power. So, Mr. Hotop, it's my honor to present to you the Department of Defense Patriot Award for your support for our nation's military.
Thank you. So, thank you, and I'm honored to receive the award. I mean,
I know you love surprises, so you're
yeah,
welcome.
that's why I kind of looked at you to start off with. No, I mean, you know what we found, and we have been extremely successful hiring a lot of veterans, is that our values and the values that veterans have really line up for the service we deliver our citizens. And, you know, I would encourage anybody just to give a veteran a chance to come into their organization, because they've worked extremely hard for us, and it's worked out extremely well for our citizens. And so, you know, we couldn't have better veterans that represent our workforce. So extremely happy with that.
Appreciate you. Congratulations on your award, and certainly we're thankful for all the 5 members of our organization that serve in our armed forces. So thank all of you, too.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Congratulations, sir. This time we'll shift down to item 5 on the agenda, which is presentations and proclamations. 5A is a presentation of the Weatherford Police Department Civic Achievement Award to Tanya and Keith Williams of Funky Monkey Shaved Ice. They are not able to attend this evening, so we're going to postpone that item to a future meeting to be determined. But because it was listed as an agenda item, we did want to go ahead and read that for the public. 5B on the agenda is the Parker County Transportation Bond Project update. Mr. Hotop, would you like to kick
Yes,
that off?
sir. So we have our distinguished guests here from Parker County. We have Parker County Judge Pat Dean. We have the Commissioner for Parker County of Precinct 3, Larry Walden. We've got the Director of Strategic Projects, Mr. Brian Grimes. And we've also got Chris Bosco, who's a consultant with Parker County, here to talk about transportation bond projects. So, Judge, I would invite you up.
Appreciate all you all being here on a Tuesday evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that introduction of the team that's with me here today. I didn't hear if you did or not, but Chris Bosco with Freezer Nichols, did you mention him as well? Okay.
Judge, will you raise that mic up just a little bit, sir?
Okay, thank you. Typically, on an annual basis, it's a privilege to come and speak to you, and the main objective really is to talk about the half-cent sales tax that the county gets. I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to move quickly because we have a lot of information to share with you, and basically I'm going to go through that. I'm going to then just a brief moment for questions, because I don't want to take away from what Commissioner Walden and the rest of the team and that's going to be speaking. So if I would, just a couple of quick updates. We did have a couple of propositions on the ballot this last time that did not pass. Obviously, it's a need of the county that we have a justice center that we need. It's a need of the county. We also have a capacity need with the jail that we're going to be dealing with and going to somewhat of a plan B, if you will, and a savings to the taxpayer, but yet we're going to continue. The need still exists today, and we're going to continue with that process. The Parker County, the budget today is approximately about $100 million. The sales tax collections are just under 19 million, or 19% of our total revenues, and it's about a 6-cent reduction of the tax rate of the people that live in Weatherford or in the county is what that reduction resulted in. And that's what the origination of the half-cent sales tax was when that was implemented, was to implement a reduction to the sales tax to the community of Parker County. And to show that, 6 of the last 7 years that we have, that I have been a part of this team, we have used the effective no new revenue rate, the effective tax rate. And the only other year that we didn't do that is the year that the taxpayer voted on a $130 million transportation bond, at which we absorbed for years on the previous ones, and I commend the previous courts for that. We did as long as we could, and then we had to implement just a small increase of that amount, which still the county still absorbed some of that. But we continue, and so I'm leading into some of the rationale of the discussion of this half-cent sales tax. Weatherford, I want to say this real quick too, that the relationship between the city of Weatherford and the county has dramatically grown more in the last 12 months, in the actually the last 12, 24 months, than it was when I first came on board. Not that I've learned more of what to do, maybe that is part of the case, but it's more of the projects that we're in. We're all in this together with all the growth that's happening in this county with the transportation, the need for water. And so I think the county has stepped up and taken a leadership role in that, along with the city of Weatherford and all the cities around, knowing and understanding what the need of this county with the growth that's coming. Parker County sales tax keeps the overall tax rate low. And again, we appreciate that half-cent sales tax. We take it very seriously. And I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about that. The low taxes in the city of Weatherford's forward thinking and innovation has created a business-friendly environment that I think has benefited Weatherford very importantly, as well as Parker County. Just a couple of things just to address that half-cent sales tax. Just a couple of things that's done. We've secured over $1.6 billion in federal and state transportation funding. I'm your representative on the Regional Transportation Council. And so that is what that has resulted in, which is improving safety and capacity in highways. That includes also major arterial roads used every day by the county in some form or way, because when something happens on I-20, it's going to push that traffic back into Parker County. And so it's my job to continue to push for those matching funds. If you factor in, and another thing we've done, we've reduced that timeline on the increase of capacity on I-20. And not only that, there's a plan also to have the access roads completed with a 3-lane access point going east and west from Walsh Ranch down to not near Brock, or near Brock. And so also implementing that $130 million transportation bond was a team effort from everybody. What we've also done is created a countywide transportation department, and that's been led by, and will be led by, the former Willow Park City Manager, Brian Grimes, is here today, and he will speak on that. The professionalization of the staff is one of the key things that it was important to me when we came here. We're blessed with that. The regional water planning and long-term success for cities. I've been put on a steering committee for the TxDOT. That has already been, and I think, James, did you go to that last one? No, it was a different meeting, I'm sorry. It was so many transportation meetings, I'm getting confused with that. The county-led regional water strategy, I know Commissioner Walden's going to talk about that, as well as some of the water and southeastern water initiatives. But again, the overall, I guess the narrative, what I want to say is that we're in this together. Our success is a stronger Weatherford, is a stronger Parker County, and we're going to continue to do that. And we're going to continue to work with you guys as best we can. So thank you. I know I went through this quickly, but there's people that have some more information they want to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did not introduce Commissioner Walden, so Commissioner Walden.
Commissioner Walden is a man who needs no introduction. Welcome, sir. It's always good to see you.
Mayor.
And it's not even rodeo time. It's not even rodeo time and you're here.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. How'd we get in the water business? Nobody else was doing it. We had a committee going through our ARPA funds a couple of years ago and had a little bit of money left, and we said we need a committee to begin working on securing additional water sources for Parker County. And so we took the same committee, and we actually have one of our star members back here, Richard Heiser, has been on both and has done a wonderful job. He has history in water, if you didn't know that. But we appreciate the service. We then brought in some other key players here. Let's see, James Hotop, Rick Schaefer, and anybody else that we can drag in that can help along the way. And our goal is to kind of develop a solution. Look for what we can do to make things better in Parker County. City of Weatherford's covered. Rest of the county, hit and miss. This map that you see shows you the water entities scattered around Parker County and then the lack thereof in the other parts of the county. But just because those are a certain color here and they belong to the CCN of one of these water entities does not mean that they are being served. And I think most of you have heard my story about 6100 Greenwood Road by now. Sick of hearing it, but as we delved a little bit deeper into this, 6100 Greenwood Road, I own property there. 50 years ago, they said they'd bring water to us, and 50 years later, no water. So that's the gist of it. It continues on too, and so as we get looking into long-term solutions, nobody's working on it. The water companies they're getting water from somewhere else. They're seeing what it's going to cost, and then they're expanding as they're able to, and that's it. There are no other plans. So we went to work to change that, and that's what our goal is. And so we began that process and looking for what we can do short term, what we can do the next 50 years, and recognizing that this is a long-term investment and a long-term goal, and recognizing that Parker County has to take the lead in that. And so we have done that as well. It's pretty interesting if you haven't seen that map before there. It's really interesting when you see a map that shows what areas are being actually served in there. So we looked, as we began to do work, we find out that Texas Water Development Board says that there needs to be a regional solution. They don't want to do business with one of the smaller entities. They want a regional solution for everybody. And so we started looking at what we could do to do that. We initially tried the water district legislative path, but somewhere along the way there, we did a smart thing, and we hired Freeze and Nichols to help us. And we recognize that they're in the transportation business, but they're really a water engineering firm across Texas, and they are extremely knowledgeable. They do write the Region C State Water Plan, of which we were not very well included, but now we are because we hired them. So they recommended that we go the public utility agency route. And so I tell people the last thing I want is more government, but we got to have it. We've got to have a regional entity that can manage water, a regional entity that can assist these water companies, different water authorities throughout the county, in getting the financing that they need and getting the planning that they need to move forward. So our goal is to come up with a long-term plan. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it by the public utility agency, which will have a board of directors, members added that want to be members. We can issue debt, can't issue taxes, no taxing authority. Eminent domain, but not for water rights. If you're going to put a pipeline in, you better have eminent domain capability. But another agency, and we're beginning the process of setting that up so that we can move forward. So what are the benefits of a PUA? Well, we get the efficiencies and the economies of scale that we need. We need the administrative support of people that are actually working on it, not just reading the meters and sending bills out. Somebody that can implement the financing and the water supply strategies and secure those funding opportunities that are out there. And making plans, of course, for the undeveloped and unincorporated areas, which there is no plan for today. As Parker County grows, it's something we've got to have. And we're proud to take the lead in this, and we appreciate the help from the city of Weatherford as we move forward here. But everybody wants to know what we're doing in Parker County about water. So we set up something called the Parker County Water Symposium. It's this Friday, the 21st, 9 to 2 o'clock at the Parker County Sheriff's Posse Clubhouse. And we're going to have a keynote address from Dr. Robert Mace. We're going to have a discussion about economic development and the role that water plays in how the growth of Parker County as we move forward, or the lack of growth if we don't have some more water here. We're going to do a little panel discussion about groundwater. It's well known, I say it again, we're drilling 1,500 wells in Parker County. We're number one in Texas. Number 2 is Wise County. They're about 750. So we're winning. I'm telling you, we're winning. We're drilling more wells, but it's not a sustainable model. So we're going to have lunch. If you can come, we'll feed you. We're going to talk about folks who are in the public utility agency or the water district business scattered throughout the state. And we're going to bring in people who are ahead of us, people that are just barely ahead of us, and Wise County is just barely ahead of us. We'll talk about them a little bit. But there are other counties or regional water authorities throughout Texas that are doing exactly what we're doing. So the model is already there. We don't need to reinvent it. We've got Texas Water Development Board. They're giving us an update on funding. And we told them to bring their checkbook. We recognize that they're getting $1 billion a year for the next 20 years, and we need to be lined up to get our portion of that. So hope you can come. It's step. We recognize it takes very small steps to get where we need to be. We recognize that we have to inform everybody of what a PUA is, and it's not going to hurt you. It's what we have to do to get access to those funds that we have. That are sitting out there. So thanks for the opportunity to come speak tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it. Much respect. Welcome, sir.
Hi, Mayor and Council. So want to give you an update on, we had previously kind of given you all updates.
Identify yourself for the record, Chris, please.
Chris Bosco with Friesen Nichols.
Thank you.
So this update, kind of where we are on the bond program. So this first slide kind of gives you an overview. One of the key elements from the last time we presented is the Bethel Road project. You'll note we have not gone to court. However, Commissioner Walden, Judge Dean has been interacting with James and Chad. A lot of conversations with TxDOT about the county taking that project over and taking it the rest of the way. It's partially in design, so it'll be another really good partnership project, and that kind of couples with the ramp project there. Actually, that one's in final design. Graham Associates has done a great job, and of course, you guys got that ball going way ahead of the bond, so that really helped that one move along. One of the nice success there was planning to let in early 27. And so that we're working with the state to kind of move that letting date up. Bill Smith and Matt have done a great job. A couple of elements beyond the design was kind of clearing some access issues. And so that's been a good partnership with their help to get that job ready to let. So to jump back to the schematic ones, so Halfin Associates is working on the 730 schematic. We've had some initial communication with property owners, but the formal public meeting will be early next year. They've been working on different alignments, doing coordination with you all as well as the state and COG. The I-20 frontage roads, Graham is also the firm leading those, and they're in the schematic phase on that. The state provided a lot of survey, and Graham's kind of augmented that with some additional survey. I recognize that one is a key importance too. We're working on the Rick Williamson 180 overpass. So that's a project that we don't have funding for construction, but the county's advancing the design to position us for federal funding on that project. So then going to project 6, so one of the things about Rick Williamson, we've bid that job. We're just waiting for a few utilities to move, and the contractor is planning to mobilize early January. We are planning, this project will improve how the intersection of 180 works. So we're planning to improve that operation. Of course, the overpass in the long run will really be the ultimate solution there. But and then, of course, the old Gardner signal will be installed. That was put out for bid with Rick Williamson as a combined project. We've also bid Oak Ridge, and we haven't awarded that one. We're kind of working through getting that awarded, but hoping to award that the 1st of December and then get that one underway as well. Another element of the program.
Can you go back to that
sir.
slide just for a second?
Yes.
So just for point of clarification, like when you go to schematic design, the orange section, you're talking about just the schematic portion being done for Project 2 in March of 27.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that includes feasibility, schematic, environmental.
So just to make sure that people understand that the completion dates are for that phase that's described in that color-coded section. That's not the completion date of the project. So,
Yes, sir. Yeah,
for instance,
that's good
on 730, we'd be looking at a 2029 or 2030 completion on
Correct.
that.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So that project has some partial funding on it, but we don't have the full funding for construction. So we're working with COG on that. But yes, sir, that's a good clarification. I was
Thank you for
intending
that, Chris.
to be. So thoroughfare plan, one of the projects in the program was to update the thoroughfare plan. One of the key elements the original plan was approved in June of 2020. So a lot of changes over the last several years. And so, of course, one of the core elements is to make sure we're in alignment with y'all's current plan, other cities around the county, as well as adapt to the new development, new plan developments. One of the other elements that's relatively new is the state has what they call a corridor agreement for counties. The intention of that is to give the county authority to maintain right-of-way abutting a state road. However, they need a updated thoroughfare plan, and then the commission would vote to give the county that authority. So that's a kind of a new initiative that the state has that will add a lot of value in the future for preserving that right-of-way. So that's kind of the core element of the thoroughfare plan update. So I like to show, for anyone listening in, we do monthly updates to court and put those on the website. So if anyone wants to get more regular updates, they can visit the county website and obtain that. So with that, I'll open up to any questions. And I think Brian has a few comments to make as well.
Any questions for Mr. Bosco?
Just one comment. You showed all the projects are out there, and just acknowledging Commissioner Walden's efforts, because most of our projects are in Precinct 3 and been exceptional to work with and flexible about moving around what we consider priorities to be, right? And that's extremely helpful for us. So.
Well, and the one thing about those projects that is especially unique is they're all the leverage.
Yeah.
So, the investment,
Right. When will that number be definitive? Because you hear ranges from 3 to 10.
Yeah. At least to achieve. You guys have invested, plus the county, but one. So that does kind of range, but
It can vary from project to project.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other questions for Mr. Bosco? Matt?
The alignment of 730, that will not be finalized till, was it March? Is that what the slide said?
Yes, so the half is done, the alignment study that's identified multiple alignments. We've been collaborating with your staff and the state. We've had some initial meetings with the property owners that are most effective, but we haven't done the formal public meeting.
Okay.
So that we're targeting a February, March for that meeting. Of course, we'd, get comments from that meeting and then, identify the preferred alignment.
Okay.
So a little more time on that.
Okay.
Thing down here?
I
Appreciate
think
you being here.
Brian had a couple of
Yeah,
comments to
Mr.
close us
Grimes, come on
out.
up. Thank you for being here, Mr. Grimes. If you'll just identify yourself for the record, sir. Thanks
Yes, sir.
for
Brian
spending some time with us.
Grimes, Director of Strategic Projects for Parker County. I'll be very, very brief. I'm not going to go up for election today. It's campaign season. I am the former city manager in Willow Park, and in that role for the last 8 years, I've enjoyed a great relationship with James and Rick and Chad, and I just want to commend you guys. Y'all have an amazing staff, and y'all should be thankful, and I know you are, for their efforts. They're very professional in what they do. They're leaders in their field, and quite frankly, they're a great resource for several cities, not only in Parker County, but throughout the DFW region. James Hotop, in my mind, is probably one of the top 10 city managers in the state of Texas, and that man has my utmost respect, so thank you for everything.
You say top one?
Well, he's in the top 10.
You're a little low with your floor there, but,
Name like he's the top. We had a great relationship as a city manager, and as I transitioned to this new role, I look forward to continuing this partnership with the city of Weatherford and what we can do as Parker County to help you guys. One of my main goals is to improve communication and coordination between the county and the city. Weatherford has a lot to offer Parker County, and I think we can work together, save the taxpayers some money, but get some of these projects moving a little bit faster, which is my second goal, is to try to get some of these projects that may be on high center, keep them moving, grease the wheels of project management, if you will, and just try to keep things moving forward. I had breakfast with James and Chad a couple of weeks ago. If y'all see something that y'all need us to work on, please feel free to reach out, and we want to be a resource for you. So with all that, it's been 3 weeks. My first job description is other duties and signs. So.
well, welcome to the team, and we appreciate you and are really, really feel fortunate to have you remain local.
Yes, sir. Thank
Any
you.
questions for Mr. Grimes?
Thank you, Mayor
All
Pastor.
right, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
All
I was
right.
afraid James was about to get another award there.
Yeah. Stacking them up. He got one 2 meetings ago.
I have to get a new shelf in that office.
Right. To get a load-bearing beam on that ceiling to carry all those awards, so. All righty, let's see here. Let's shift on down to item 6 on the agenda, approval of the minutes. 6A is consider approval of the minutes for the city council meeting held October 28th, 2025. Questions or conversation on the minutes? Motion for approval by Heidi Wilder, second provided by Luke Williams. Anything before we call for a vote on this? Let's vote on the minutes. Minutes passed with the mayor recusing himself. Item 7 on the agenda is consent agenda items. Council, we have 7A through 7J. We can entertain those as a body, or if there's something you'd like to split off and discuss individually, now's your opportunity. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Smith for the body.
His money.
Is there a second? Provided by Matt Tiskus. Any conversation or questions on any of these items under consent before we call for a vote? Let's vote on them. Please indicate yea or nay on your touch screens. And the consent items pass. Item 8A on the agenda is regular agenda items. Receive a report to consider adoption of Resolution R2025-20, formally adopting the Weatherford Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. Mr. Matt Lepler.
Honorable Mayor, members of council, at this time staff requests tabling this item. We would like the opportunity to confirm some data and some information that was in the report before we bring it forward for adoption.
Council, we can sure discuss because it's on the agenda, but staff's recommending we table to confirm data that's received in the report. Entertain a motion if that's your pleasure.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Matt Tiskus, second provided by Heidi Wilder. Any discussion on the request to table? Let's vote on it. Please indicate yea or nay on your touch screens. And that item's tabled. Item 8B, consider adoption of ordinance O2025-49, amending the Weatherford roadway impact fee regulations. Welcome back, Matt Lepla.
Thank you,
Might as well
Mayor.
just stay up there for a while tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Good afternoon. In 2022, the City Council adopted Ordinance 02022-14, establishing a roadway impact fee to help fund roadway improvements driven by new development. As you may recall, the city is divided into 3 service areas, each containing highlighted capital projects needed to accommodate growth within each zone. The cost of these projects directly influences the fee applied within each area, and the fees are collected at the time the building permits are issued. The table on the left, the table on the left reflects those fees associated with those projects currently. So since adoption, staff has monitored implementation to ensure Weatherford's fees remain not only competitive with other cities in the region, but also that they do not become a barrier to quality development. Following the council retreat, staff conducted a review of roadway impact fees compared to similar and surrounding cities, and based on this analysis, recommends an adjustment to reduce the current rates. What you see here is a comparison of each city's lowest and highest area cost across comparable cities, both current and proposed, both for residential and non-residential development. Roadway impact fees are calculated based on a maximum assessable rate determined by the rate study. This rate is applied on a per unit basis to each development type to determine the collected fee. For example, under the current rates, a single-family home with its associated trip generation cost totals the $5,310. Under the proposed reduction, that amount would be $3,185.51. So similarly, a 20,000 square foot office building in Service Area A would decrease from $124,416 to $66,384. These reductions reflect staff recommendation to adjust residential assessed fees to 40% and non-residential assessed fees to 60% of their maximum rates. We believe this adjustment will position the City of Weatherford more competitively as quality developers evaluate potential project locations. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Appreciate the presentation, sir. Lots of good information. Any questions for Mr. Lepla on the presentation related to the reduction in roadway impact fees?
I think I have one, but I'm not sure how to ask it. On your first slide that you had, how far are we in these projects, percentage-wise, to meeting the goal of being completely done? So you're trying, when we first did this, we said this is what was needed to complete these projects. And now we must be how far along in these projects?
Matt, I can speak to that if you'd like. I was just there for the beginning of the roadway impact fee program. So this one's developed similar to any of our other CIP programs where...
Chad, if you'll pull your mic around.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Excuse me. So these were developed similar to our other thoroughfare plans, capital improvement plans, where it's not necessarily to garner these revenues and construct systematically one at a time. We're able to allocate funds where they're needed on the system as development occurs. So we don't look at it as much as what percent's complete today. We're looking at it as what can we allocate where we need it at the time we receive those funds. So it's a long-term plan for us to be able to make fund development impacts.
So in your total projection, assuming that it's not one project at a time, but in your total forecast, you total forecast something, and you projected what these fees were going to be, are you now saying that we're far enough along we can revise the forecast that says we will meet these needs of these projects based on these rates?
Correct, yes, and we've been We have the benefit of having two different TERS zones also to allocate towards some similar projects. And then leveraging funds on system that the county just talked about with the bond also benefits us too. So it's a tool in our toolbox. What staff's doing here is recommending a reduction so that we remain competitive and not a barrier to quality development.
Great question. Any others? We do have the speaker card. I had a couple questions for we, and either you gentlemen could address this. And I know that Mr. Marbut, you had said this is a long-term plan, and I remember this, and it's an excellent plan. Y'all really thought about where we're going to need roadways. But what the citizens would say is we need them now. And so, and I firmly believe that that's true if we're trying to stimulate economic development by reduction of fees, which I'm totally excited about. How can we drop fees to try to drive economic development and properly fund projects that our citizens would say they need now? My concern is this: what are the unintended consequences of doing this related to completing today's project and future projects? Because you can't do the same with less.
So you want?
Yes, sir, correct. So just continuous monitoring. So we believe that the revenue that we're generating right now through development is going to be able to accommodate what we need. If we discover that through all our other funding mechanisms that this is not working and we need to increase these rates, we certainly bring it back to the council for consideration.
So there's something we'll be, if we approve the change, we'll be monitoring. If there's a consequential impact that's affecting mobility in a negative way, we can come back and adjust those things as needed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very well said.
I will note that our impact fees, both water, wastewater, and roadway impact fees, will be brought forward soon to be reevaluated. They're due for every so often. They have to be reassessed and reevaluated.
Sure.
That the roadway is going to be combined with the water, wastewater. So what is proposed tonight will ultimately potentially be brought back in, let's say, a year, next October, for another revision and look at, the roads and all the impacts.
Water and wastewater are a great parallel example to this. Years ago, the city of Weatherford made a commitment to build, complete, and maintain the infrastructure to prepare us. And you heard tonight from Commissioner Walden what kind of dividend that's paying for our community. He said the city of Weatherford's great on water, they're good, but the rest of the county is not in areas. And so that's kind of why I asked the question, relationship to roads. I love the proposed decrease in fees. I think all this council does, right? That's what we're about, is less burden on folks who are trying to invest in our community. But we want to make sure that doesn't result in a higher burden on the people that have lived here for decades. And so thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
So we do have a speaker card. Any other questions or comments on the item? This time, Mr. Coffey, Chris, thank you for being here, as always, or most of the time. And Chris, once you get to the podium, if you can identify yourself with your address, you'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Sure.
Appreciate
My name's Chris Coffey. Address is 113 Christopher Court, Weatherford, Texas. Long and short of it, I support what Matt's trying to do. I did want to throw some anecdotal information out there that might kind of maybe even address some of the questions you have. So I've lived in Weatherford over a decade, and I almost exclusively do work in Weatherford. We build, we have rental properties, those type of things. And I was thinking earlier today, what are all my projects? Just trying to go through all the projects I've done in the last decade in Weatherford, quite a few, right? And almost 100%, if I'm forgetting one, was in the north part of Weatherford, so north of 180. So I'm very familiar with those. And I think we all can agree that area needs the most attention, right? The most private funds, right? There's special unique challenges with that. So anything I talk about right now will be in regards to how these fees would affect the improvement of those areas. I don't know how it would affect the southern part. I've never done projects there or anything, but definitely the northern part, the old part, the 130-year-old part, right? And I will tell you a quick anecdotal story. I had a friend that he does most of his building in the mid-cities area. He convinced him to come over here and invest in Weatherford. Invested in Weatherford, the northern part, because that's what I was familiar with. That's what I showed him. And I remember he called me the day that he had to write the check for all the impact fees, which we also have to remember the park fee. There's a park impact fee as well. I don't know if we have all of them. And he was panicking because it was thousands of dollars more than what he's used to in the mid-cities areas that he did. And I reassured him, I said, hey, Weatherford's a great city. You'll recoup your investment. You'll be fine. And he did fine. But I will, for example, on these impact fees, I have a project right now that, for example, in a perfect world, we should just knock the house down and build a new one. But because of impact fees and because of some other requirements that are required with new builds that you don't have with remodels, it's probably not the route we're gonna go, even though in a perfect world, we would knock it down. Because there are some houses up north that probably need to be knocked down. But people are gonna choose just to patch them, or, fix them up. And part, not all of it, but part of it is the impact fees. So any reduction would be a great help to the northern part. That's a significant reduction, a $2,000, you're not building expensive houses, right? You're not building a $500,000 house in that part of town. You're probably building a $300,000 house because that's what's appropriate. That's what you can sell in that part of town. So I would encourage you to consider that when you are voting on these impact fees. Like I said, I have a project now that we should just tear that house down, but we probably won't because of impact fees and because of other things that we don't have to pay when we just remodel them, and then other requirements that we have. So I strongly encourage you to reduce the impact fees just to help the northern part. I don't know how it'll affect the rest of the town, but that was just my 2 cents on it, and I support what Matt's trying to do. So thank you all very much.
Appreciate you being here, Mr. Coffey, and for your input on the matter. There are no other speaker cards on the item. Council, any discussion, any other questions? Entertain a motion if that's your pleasure. Item 8B. Motion for approval by Heidi Wilder is presented.
Yes, sir.
Second provided by Matt Tiskus. Before we call for a vote on it, one last chance for any comments, suggestions, or feedback. Let's vote on item 8B. Please indicate yea or nay on your touchscreens. That item passes. We'll shift down to item 8C, consider authorizing the purchase of 4 Mack MD6 non-CDL trucks with truck-mounted, how do you pronounce that word, Mr. Totop? Attenuators from Gulf Highway Equipment through an HCAC contract in an amount not to exceed $821,559.10. I bet we're about to learn what an attenuator is from Matt Lepla.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Before you is request for consideration to approve the purchase of 4 Mack MD6 non-CDL trucks equipped with truck-mounted attenuators. 2 of these units are proposed designated for the fire department. The primary concern is responder safety. Firefighters and first responders face significant risks when operating on high-speed roadways. These crash trucks provide a vital safety buffer, protecting both first responder crews and the traveling public during incident response. As you know, fire apparatuses can cost between $1 and $2 million and take up to 3 years to build. This investment adds an important layer of protection for those assets as well. Within the past 2 months, fire trucks in both Azle and Fort Worth were struck while working crash scenes, underscoring the need for this additional protection. Excuse me. The other 2 trucks will support multiple departments: Public Works, Parks, Electric, and wastewater, whenever work occurs in a high-speed or active roadway. For example, the Parks Department maintains the medians along 180 at Fort Worth Highway and often works near high-speed traffic, while Public Works performs pavement markings, pothole repairs, and other roadway maintenance operations. The Electric Department recently had to rent a crash truck for some work that was done in North Main. TxDOT requires a crash truck with these truck-mounted attenuators as part of a traffic control for high-speed roadways. Without them, safe operations would require an unfeasible number of cones and extensive lane closures. These trucks therefore enhance safety, reduce the need for complex traffic control plans, and provide operational flexibility across departments. These 4 trucks will be purchased through Gulf Highway Equipment via the Cooperative Purchasing Program, HGAC. The trucks are being purchased through our TERS 1 and TERS 2 accounts and revenue streams. The fire trucks are about 6 weeks out because they have a little bit more detail they need. They're going to be painted red and so forth. The normal trucks that you see on your screen are readily available for us to get. So we believe that these purchase of these 4 trucks will significantly improve safety for both our employees and the public. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Lepla?
I got 1 or 2 maybe.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Like you earlier, I'm going to be careful how I word this. Make no mistake, no one, I understand the pictures that you painted with the fire and being on 180 in Maine and all that with the traffic. By no means is anyone's life need to be at risk over $821,000. That's not what I'm getting at. Could you explain, though, maybe, do we have any current trucks? For instance, 2 weeks ago, we got your department some other dump trucks. Could we retrofit some of those used trucks that are already currently in our fleet, already paid for by the taxpayers, and just put some of these Scorpions on those trucks that we already own? Or is there a reason why that wouldn't work?
You could. They do offer a trailer version for that. Some of the concern is that availability. You know, we have some dump trucks, CDL-driven dump trucks that you could put on it, attaching that outside of normal operations than to take to, you know, a fire wreck or whatever the case may be, can be problematic. And you can see like the logistics of doing that. So we only have 1 or 2, 3 vehicles that could potentially carry those trailers with them, but are also in operation. So in the opportunity that a truck-mounted set-alone unit that is designed for safety is easily accessible for anybody to come grab and use as needed.
Sure. Especially the non-CDL part.
Yeah, and that's huge, as you may be aware. You know, we have a lot of people on throughout the departments, and I don't want to speak for the fire department, but I believe, you know, having, you know, one of their guys be able to just grab the truck for wherever they're going to station it and take it to the site will make things quicker and is very valuable.
Parks too probably doesn't have very many CDL.
I think Parks, last I spoke to them, they might have 1 CDL applicant, you know, that's on their staff.
Understood.
Great questions. Any others? I've got a couple, but I'll let everybody else go. Questions? Also, these vehicles have a digital display board on them that indicate to people that they need to merge right or left. That's correct?
That is correct.
So that's not something you can throw on if you need to add to an existing vehicle.
And the ones that we're proposing actually have message boards, so they can display a message, and you can have pre-programmed message. You can kind of see it from the picture, that board, that'll be a message board.
Right.
So we'll have the opportunity, you can imagine all the scenarios where not only is there arrows and, you know, things that can direct traffic, but you can also display a message depending on the situation.
Very well. I would ask, would you be okay if I asked Chief Peacock a couple questions related to the project? Okay. And Chief, I think a month ago we went just in great detail about how hard it is to get equipment, and I expressed my frustration about that, but it's necessary. We've got to work through that. We are, right? How are these going to be staged in your department where they can be effectively used? And then what would the impact be to our city if we lost a piece of equipment due to the lead time and if you could find a rental, et cetera, et cetera? And I don't mean to pile on here, but I think it's important for our taxpayers to know.
No, understandable, Mayor, and that's a valid question. Thank you for that. So kind of start out basically kind of giving you some stats to understand our operations for our emergency responders, not just fire, but our police officers, ambulance service, and tow truck drivers are all involved in these incidents when they occur. I'm going to give you some stats for 2024, just in the city limits of Weatherford on the I-20 corridor. There was 312 accidents. That involved 690 vehicles and 845 people. For the area that we're responsible to, that we're serving our ESD3 district, that we're responsible on I-20, during the same year, 120 accidents occurred with 240 vehicles involved and 280 people involved in that. As part of this system that's utilized, currently right now we use our fire apparatus as the secondary vehicle for blockers. So if we take an impact, we're going to lose a vital piece of equipment. So tactically, this service would be run just like as we do with our tanker truck, our brush trucks, at this time as we'd stage the 2 areas of the city. When that apparatus is needed, when they respond to those accidents, they would drop a person off to bring that with them in tandem, just like we do when responding to grass fires or a tanker needed fire. So we have that ability to make those responses happen. In reference that you mentioned, Mayor, with some accidents that have occurred recently, 2 in Fort Worth with a brand new Pierce apparatus, one of them, and it was damaged severely. The accident was mentioned in Azle for November 1st. This is kind of typical how things would happen. With that accident on Highway 199, a person in a pickup truck, a half-ton pickup truck, drifted over the line, struck the police car first, and then bounced in and struck the ladder truck. So kind of put that in perspective, That agency, the estimated cost for repairs for the patrol car is $28,000 with a 2 to 3 months time frame before they get that vehicle back in service. The fire vehicle was hit with their ladder truck. It's their one and only ladder truck, just as for us. They suffered what would be considered minor damage to their waterway, but that's $16,000 in repair with 5 to 6 months before they see that vehicle back. Also, I want you to keep in mind that the second leading cause line of duty deaths in the fire service is traumatic injury. 46% of that is by people being struck on the roadway. Chief Hayes also, he would know that as well. There's statistics for police officers as well, but this will give us a better means and more economical means to protect our number one asset, which is our people and our citizens, and then also to protect the capital assets that we've spent so much money on. And I will tell you that some business members in this community that follow everything very closely, when they've heard that this is a potential, spoke very highly that this is being done for the pure cost of what they've seen come across this year just with apparatus alone.
Chief, how will these be staged and how will they be maneuvered in your department? There's 2 units, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is what you're proposing for your department. So tell us how that would work. You get a call. How does that work with the existing staff that you
So,
have?
for example, existing staffing, if we have an accident on I-20 right now, closest, we'll say right now, is Station 3, Station 4 are the closest that are going to respond. Both of those are going to respond. One will serve as a blocker. The other one will serve as the incident and take care of everything. The other may help with that. But then we also have now 2 units tied up, one that may not be needed for personnel, but it's needed for a blocker. And so that's sitting on that scene until that scene is cleared and deemed safe enough for that vehicle to leave. In this place, the blocker being in tandem with the first unit would be placed in there to serve, thus freeing up the second vehicle when the manpower is no longer needed at that scene.
So the safety is one aspect. I'm sorry, sir. The safety is one aspect, but the increase in availability of our existing units is something that is not quantifiable.
Absolutely.
It's substantial. So, okay, go ahead, sir.
Well, I was just going to put you on the spot and ask you, how long do those wrecks last? Like, if you got 2 trucks, one's out of service, how many hours is that?
It can be anywhere from a minor where it's maybe 30 minutes where we got to get somebody just moved down the road up to several hours of that freeway being shut down a lane. And it's not just the first accident we respond to. Normally what ends up happening, especially during the time of day when traffic increases, is that we have the first accident, and then once that queue builds up, the vehicles coming up and start stacking up, then we have a secondary incident. As people come up, aren't paying attention, they end up rear-ending. Or it happens in the opposite travel lanes because they're looking at that and they drift into somebody else's lane and cause another secondary accident. So they can expand very rapidly and be there for a very long time depending on what type of accident has occurred.
You bet. Well, thank you for that. Are there any questions, Chief Peacock?
So one thing, just to follow up on Mayor Pro Tem's question about were there any other vehicles that could be repurposed? You know, part of it is a weight for the specific vehicle. We kind of looked at, is there an old sweeper truck that still has plenty of life left in it? Doesn't necessarily have the weight for those, and all the other vehicles were unreliable as we take some of the dump trucks out of service and things like that, that there wasn't one that could be repurposed for something like that. So, but it was a very good question. The other thing just to note too is, and Jacob's here, but he could tell you, Fort Worth Highway, we had a contractor doing that job that's out there. They quit because it was just too dangerous for their employees to be out there. So then we asked our employees to go out there, which really wasn't the best scenario, right? Because no other contractor, we couldn't get another contractor to go pull weeds and work on all the landscaping that's out there. And so this is something, if y'all do decide to move forward with this, would allow our existing folks to go out there and maintain that stuff.
Great information.
Mayor, I had an additional question. I don't know, Chief, if this is a question for you or Mr. Lepla, but what is considered around town, obviously 20, and then I would assume Fort Worth Highway, but what is considered a high-speed traffic location?
So we have FM 730, we have Highway 51. As you get further out and the speeds increase, and then like Alapino Street as we get out towards the loop and stuff where speeds actually increase.
Okay. As this is going to be primarily funded through our TERS funds, that falls right in line with those high-speed areas, especially along the 20. So that seems to be a good utilization of those, responsible, protecting community assets and our first responders. So just wanted to point that out or make note of that was going to be what was going to be funding this, was those TERS funds.
Well, very, very good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
Council, I do have a motion on the floor for approval by Mayor Pro Tem Smith second by Heidi Wilder, but we're open to take your questions or comments for either of these gentlemen related to this item. Hearing none, let's vote on item 8C. Chief Peacock, Mr. Lepla, thank you both for your time, sir. Please indicate yea or nay on your touch screens. This item passes. Let's go down to 8D on the agenda. Consider approval of Resolution R2025-19, casting the city's votes for the Parker County Appraisal District Board of Directors, PCAD. City Manager James Hotop.
Yes, sir. September 23rd City Council meeting, the council made a recommendation to nominate two people, Mr. Joe Wilkerson and Mr. Richard Barrett, for the ballot for the Parker County Board of Directors, Parker County Appraisal District Board of Directors. There are two seats that are available. Those are the two people that are currently shown on the ballot. The city has 96 votes they can cast. Every taxing entity within Parker County receives votes. That was included in your packet. We do need to pass a resolution in order to officially cast our votes. Our recommendation, those are the two people that are shown on the ballot, and so those are the only people we could vote for, is just to split our votes in between those two people, between Richard and Joe. That's staff's recommendation.
All right, any questions on item 8D, council? Entertain a motion if that's your pleasure, or suggestions? Motion for approval is recommended by staff by Matt Tiskus, second by Heidi Wilder. Any discussions on item 8D before we call for a vote? Let's vote on it. Please indicate yea or nay on your touch screens at this time. And that item passes. Item 9 is future agenda items. Mr. Hotop, do you have anything, sir? No. City Council, future agenda items. Hearing none, council, I would ask that you allow me to shift up item 12, citizen comments on non-agenda items before our executive session. We do have the speaker card. Is that okay with everybody? So we'll hear item 12 this time. Citizen comments on non-agenda item, and I'd like to call up Lynn Main. Lynn, come forward, please, and thanks for your patience with us. Lynn, once you get settled, if I can have your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes, okay? Thank you for being here.
Done this before.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We're glad you're back.
As Mr. Hotep knows. My name is Lynn Main, and I live at 211 West Oak Street, which you can see from the City Hall. I have two very small things. I think we need to do a better job of informing our community what we're doing with city projects. And I'm talking about the building at Waco and Oak Street. It's been wrapped with some kind of black wrapping that says City of Weatherford. But we have no idea in our neighborhood what is going on with that building. Is it going to be offices? Is it going to be torn down? Is it going to be converted into something else? We don't know. But I think when the City of Weatherford makes such an identification that that is a city building, there should be something put there that says it's going to be the future site of whatever, so that the people in the neighborhood know what's going on. And you actually have an agenda item tonight about the splash park at Love Street Park. That's the same kind of a site that when that work gets ready to start, you should have some kind of signage there that tells the people in that neighborhood. You did a great job with Cherry Park. There were signs there that said when it was going to start, when it was going to be completed. But that's, it's just a kind of like a little, like, what is this? And as you know, the Cherry Park neighborhood can get a little antsy about certain things going on. The second thing are sidewalks in this town. I'm of the senior years now, and I'm reading articles that tell me that I'm supposed to be walking 3,000 to 8,000 steps a day in order to stay healthy. And if you actually walk around in our neighborhood, you will see a lot of people my age walking around in the neighborhood. But we have some incredibly dangerous sidewalks. I'm not asking for every single street to have sidewalks on both sides. But if you cross the street and go to Alamo and just come straight across from my house, you will see a sidewalk that is now about 18 inches high off the ground and crumbling. There are sidewalks up and down Waco Street that have the same issue. They're crumbling. We have drainage conduits that just have a flat metal plate over the top of them, and if you step one way or the other, you may fall into that conduit. So I don't know how that can be done, but I really wish the City of Weatherford would start looking at some of the sidewalks. I am we cannot put sidewalks everywhere. You would take down too many of our trees. You would take down too much of the beauty of the neighborhood. But at least on each side of the street, there should be a walkable sidewalk that I or other people do not have the difficulty with walking or could possibly fall off of. So that's my two little things tonight. Thank you so very much. And I want to thank Mr. Marbut for all the work he did with us a few years ago when we finally got four-way stop signs at our corner. And there has not been a big accident there since, so we're very, very happy.
Thank you. Please come back, ma'am. We appreciate your input. All right, this time we do have citizen comments on non-agenda item. That portion of our meeting is open. If there's anybody who'd like to come forward this time and speak on any item we've not covered tonight, now's your opportunity. Non-agenda items. Anybody? All righty. This time we'll bounce back up to item 10, which executive session items. We'll meet in the South Conference Room. 10A is section 551072, deliberation regarding real property, 2001 Bethel Road. We will be in recess at 7:06 p.m. We will reconvene back in this room for items 11 and 13. We're in recess, 7:06. All right, we're back in regular session at 7:19 PM. City Council, item 11 on the agenda is action on executive session items. Council, do you have any desire to take action on item 10A?
Mayor, I do. I move to approve the city's purchase of right-of-way, 1.6381 acres, utility easements and sewer easements totaling 0.728 acres on property located near 2001 Bethel Road, Weatherford, Texas, from Roberta Kirkpatrick, trustee, and authorize the execution of all purchase-related agreements and closing documents.
Motion on the floor is read by Councilmember Williams. Is there a second? Second provided by Heidi Walter. Any questions, conversations, discussion on this item before we call for a vote? Let's vote on it. Please indicate yea or nay on your touch screens. That item passes. Council will shift down to item 13, which is adjournment. Weatherford City Council stands adjourned at 7:20 PM. Thank you all for your service, and happy Thanksgiving.